Hello guys, so we are now in Dubai and it's getting hot here, the same as Bitcoin and crypto space currently during this bull market. And here with you, Anna Tutova, co-founder of Coins Telegram, and our guest, Mithil Thakore, who is founder and CEO of Velar, DeFi liquidity protocol on Bitcoin, and they're currently building and launching just the next week their perpetual DEX on Bitcoin called Velar. So great to have you here, Mithil.
Thank you so much, Anna, for having me.
So, can you tell us about your background and how did you get into industry and how did you discover crypto first?
Sure. So I did BTech in computer science from India, and I graduated in 2017. And since then, since my final year, I have been in crypto. So I can say I'm born and raised in crypto. I have not done anything else in my professional life apart from crypto. My first business was a smart contract auditing platform for EVM chains. In 2017, if you remember, it was the first cycle of Ethereum. There were lots of ICOs, initial coin offerings happening. So we used to do auditing for those ICO smart contracts, and that was my first business. We did over 1,000 ICO audits. We became one of the largest in the world. I exited that company and I started a hedge fund in 2019. The hedge fund was called TeraSurge Capital. It was an actively managed derivatives trading desk. We used to trade leverage on Bitcoin and ETH on mostly perpetual contracts on all centralized exchanges. So that fund became one of the largest actively managed derivatives trading desk in Asia. At its peak, we had over $220 million in AUM in actively managed fund, which is very rare in crypto. So it was going great until people started losing trust in centralized uh, custodians and centralized exchanges, because we saw in 2023 BlockFi went down. Not in 2023, it was in 2022 that BlockFi went down, FTX went down. There were rumors about Binance going down. So people stopped trusting centralized custodians with their bitcoins. So even in our fund, there was a USP that we had, that you should that people who are holding Bitcoin for long term, they would put their Bitcoin with us, and we would trade on coin margin perps, which are inverse perpetual contracts, and we would give ROI in terms of Bitcoin. So for over 3 years, we gave over 30% in CAGR in Bitcoin terms, which is huge. So people would have to put their Bitcoins on centralized exchanges. So when FTX went down, when BlockFi, the issue happened, people stopped trusting putting their Bitcoins on centralized exchanges. This was the reason I started Velar, which is my third business in crypto now. With Velar, we want to build world's first perpetual derivatives exchange, which is going to go live very soon. By the time this video comes out, it will be for sure live, where people can trade leverage using their Bitcoin as collateral, but the whole platform is still trusted and secured by the Bitcoin Finality, and it's secured by the native Bitcoin secure environment. So this is something that has never been done before, and happy to chat more on it today.
And which year did you discover Bitcoin first?
2017. So I'm not very old, but since I have discovered Bitcoin, I've done nothing else.
Where did inspiration to build Valor come to you, and why did you decide to build on Bitcoin? And it's basically your first project before you ran a service provider company, and
Yes.
then you decided to become a builder. So why so?
Yeah, so like I said, my first business was in smart contract auditing, and then I was running a fund. So my hedge fund was my inspiration to build Velar. So when I was running Velar, when I was running TeraSurge Capital, the hedge fund, the USP of the fund was that people who are holding long term Bitcoin for long term, institutions who are Bitcoin holders for long term and don't want to sell Bitcoin, but they want to earn more yield on their Bitcoin holdings, they would put their Bitcoin with us. We would trade on coin margin perps, which are inverse perpetual contracts on centralized exchanges, and we would use to give them ROI in Bitcoin terms. So people putting, for example, one Bitcoin with us, they would get over one Bitcoin in a year. So this was something that was very unique. But what this also gave me an insight of the market was that there are Bitcoin holders who want to earn yield on their Bitcoin without spending it or without trading it, because when you sell Bitcoin, it can also go up, so you may lose Bitcoins, so in dollar terms. So people who are holding Bitcoin, they want to use they want to put their Bitcoin to use, but they are not being able to use it. So the entire uh, asset value that is in Bitcoin right now, which is 50% of entire crypto market cap, which is $1.5 trillion, is sitting dormant. So there is so much dormant liquidity sitting in Bitcoin, which a lot of institutions and a lot of investors are holding, but they are not being able to put this liquidity to use. While if you see how people who are holding Ethereum, people who are holding Solana, they can put their Ethereum and Solana to DeFi and they can use it and they can earn yield on it. But this was not possible on Bitcoin until now. So what we want to do with Velar is that we want to build a suite of user facing DeFi applications with Bitcoin Finality, where people can put their Bitcoin to use and they can earn yield on top of their Bitcoin. And this has never happened before. So it's also for me, I have two reasons to build on Bitcoin. I have one ethical reason and I have one financial, I have one financial business reason. The business reason is simple, that there is $1.5 trillion in value sitting dormant in Bitcoin, which is 50% of entire crypto market cap. So entire DeFi that you see today is focused, all the thousands of applications, all the hundreds of thousands of smart contracts being built, and developers who are in crypto, they are focused on 50% of crypto value, while entire 50%, which is Bitcoin, is sitting dormant. Nobody is looking into it. So this is the business case for Velar, that there is $1.5 trillion of liquidity sitting dormant in Bitcoin that nobody is using. The second case is the ethical case, where Bitcoin blockchain, like I said, it is the most battle tested, most proven, longest running, most secure blockchain out there. So if you want to build DeFi with, and you have to choose a secure base, why would you choose the second most secure blockchain? Why would you choose the second most secure, second most battle tested, second longest running chain? You would choose the best for your DeFi. So that is the reason that we chose Bitcoin for Velar.
And can you tell what current products do you have? Right, so you have swap, yield farming, as well even launchpad. In March you launch your Dharma AMM powered by Stacks Bitcoin Layer 2, and you told that next week already you're launching your Velar Arta, your perpetual DEX. So can you tell more about that?
Sure. So when we started Velar, we started Velar in February 2023. There was one Bitcoin L2 that was live, which is Tex. There was Rootstock, but I don't call it a Bitcoin L2. So there were not many options. The infrastructure didn't exist to build complex DeFi products. I mean, it was very new. It's like 2015-16 of Ethereum. So what we did was, in Velar we designed 4 versions, which is Velar Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. And with every version, we bring new products to the market. So our first version, Velar Dharma, was a first of its kind Uniswap V2 inspired AMM on Bitcoin, using using a layer 2 on Bitcoin called Stacks. And we had a launchpad and we had a bridge as well. So this was Velar Dharma, where we brought simple DeFi products for people to try out Bitcoin, and also the infrastructure was developing. What we are doing now is we are focused on launching Velar Artha, which was under development for over 6 months now. Velar Artha is world's first perpetuals derivatives exchange on Bitcoin, where people will be able to use their Bitcoin holding as collateral, while they don't have to move their Bitcoin onto a different chain, or they don't have to give their Bitcoin to centralized exchanges. So for the first time in history, people will be able to use native Bitcoin as collateral, trade leverage on different liquidity pools and different tokens that we will have available on Velar Artha, while their Bitcoins will remain, first of all, in their own custody, and it will also be secured by the native secured Bitcoin environment itself. They don't have to bridge their Bitcoin out to other chains. So these two use cases that Velar Artha is going to provide is going to change the whole outlook of all crypto holders and traders, because for the first time people will be able to use DeFi on Bitcoin, which has not happened for last 14 years. And this will completely change the trajectory of not just DeFi on Bitcoin, but entire crypto industry, because now more and more Bitcoin holders, institutions will be able to take part, because our DeFi will be secured by Bitcoin and not a smaller chain with a smaller security budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is great. And you mentioned when you started started, there was only one Bitcoin layer 2 stacks, and currently we see a variety of projects now jumping into Bitcoin DeFi stuff, building their own layer 2 on Bitcoin. So do you think we really need that many solutions, and who will be the winner?
So Bitcoin DeFi is still very new compared to other ecosystems. It's like 2015, 16 of Ethereum. So when we started, there was one or two Bitcoin L2s. Now there are over 60 Bitcoin L2s that I know of. There would be more, probably some of them that I don't know of. But I think how I see the Bitcoin ecosystem evolve will be different from how the Ethereum ecosystem evolved, because there are so many different things at play here. I think there will be three main kind of Bitcoin L2s. First will be UTXO based L2s, which is similar to how Bitcoin operates and similar to how Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin operates. The second kind of Bitcoin L2s are like stacks, which are their own tech stack, and through merge mining, they provide Bitcoin Finality, and they use the mining infrastructure to basically secure their transactions and then put it on Bitcoin blockchain. And the third kind of Bitcoin L2s will be EVM Bitcoin L2s. So we all know that there are hundreds of thousands of and millions of developers that are already using EVM. It's a very trusted infrastructure virtual machine to build dApps and DeFi on top of. The only issue was the security, which Bitcoin can solve. So I think this will be one of the winners in short term, where people who are using Bitcoin Finality and using the Bitcoin blockchain and proof of work consensus to basically finalize the transactions, but they are using the Ethereum virtual machine, where it's much easier for developers to develop applications. I think that will be really game changing, because you're using Solidity to develop applications, but then your application is being secured by Bitcoin. It's not being secured by a smaller chain that just started a year ago or 2 years ago, which has like 2030 multi-sig or 2030 validators in its blockchain. It is Bitcoin, which has 100,000 miners mining Bitcoin every day, and such large infrastructure in the market. So this will be game changing. And this three kind of Bitcoin L2s, I think it will be an interesting thought experiment to see which Bitcoin L2s win. It's still too early to say which will win, because a lot of them are still very early. They have not even launched yet. A lot of them are still on testnet phase, but it will be interesting next few years to see how the Bitcoin ecosystem pans out.
Yeah, I remember I was at Teza and Polygon conference Plan B in Lugano back in 2022, and there was Adam Back with Blockstream, and they planned at that time to launch the sidechain Liquid.
Yeah.
And as well, there were some talks about the possibility of like some DeFi on Bitcoin, some zero knowledge proofs on Bitcoin, etc. But it was still not there. And now we see so much hype this cycle
Yeah.
around Bitcoin and builders.
Yeah, for sure. It will bring so much more liquidity to DeFi. It will make DeFi institutional. It will make, for the first time, we will see institutions using DeFi. The reason why institutions were not using DeFi was because institutions have a lot of money, but the security budget of these other chains and proof of stake consensus is not enough for people to put or bet a lot of money into DeFi. But now, with the security of proof of work consensus and the decentralized and distributed nature of Bitcoin chain, and the asset and the liquidity that Bitcoin the coin provides, this will completely uplift entire crypto ecosystem to a new paradigm, and we are going to see so much more adoption because of this, not just in retail but in institutions, and up to the central banks level as well because of this. And it's going to be very interesting next few years for crypto.
And how do you see the current state of institutional adoption of crypto, especially with the approval of Bitcoin spot ETF? And now we see as well in Hong Kong approval of both Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs. And do you think that, for example, traditional asset managers will do in future DeFi on Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think this. I think I have to make a statement here. It came late, but now I'm not sure about other cryptocurrencies because they haven't proven themselves as much. Ethereum, people are trying to to make it institutional, but it will be very difficult with the recent proof of stake upgrade that they did from proof of work, because proof of stake honestly is not as battle tested, it's not as distributed and decentralized as proof of work consensus, which I think institutions also understand. And it's also not as much secure as the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's like, if you want to build a financial infrastructure, why would you build on second best chain? You would only build on the best, most secure, most battle tested, most decentralized blockchain out there, which is Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin has made its way, and Bitcoin has like concretized its position as not just a digital store of value, but also a base to build future financial infrastructure, like a parallel entire financial infrastructure to run day-to-day financial needs on top of it. So next few years are going to be very interesting for Bitcoin, which will, like, it will be interesting to see how DeFi on Bitcoin pans out, how L2s on Bitcoin develop, and how the whole financial economy on Bitcoin develops.
And how long do you think it will take for Bitcoin DeFi to surpass Ethereum DeFi, and what are the obstacles to this?
Um, so honestly, I would say that what happened in Ethereum DeFi in last 6 to 7 years will happen in Bitcoin DeFi within next 2 years, and Velar is at the forefront of it. Like, whatever products we are building, whatever we are doing is first of its kind on Bitcoin. So first of its kind on crypto. So our AMM was world's first Uniswap inspired AMM on Bitcoin. Our Perp DEX is world's first Perp DEX on Bitcoin, but we are not stopping there. We have so many other products coming, and uh, and if you see, like, the first, like, if you see the speed at which we are developing is a lot, because we come from the Ethereum background, we come from EVM background. So we know what kind of products work, we know what mechanisms work, we know a lot of and we have a lot of liquidity because it's Bitcoin. You don't have to, when you are launching on a new chain, you have to source liquidity for the chain, you have to source liquidity for the app. But when you are on Bitcoin, and you prove that you are secured, and you have good yield, then a lot of Bitcoin holders will naturally put. So I think, because it's on Bitcoin, because it's not any other chain, it's Bitcoin, the speed of growth of Bitcoin DeFi will be so much, it will be unparalleled in crypto. Like, it will be, I think, not even 2 years.
I think the hype around Bitcoin came back with the launch of Ordinals, some kind of NFTs on Bitcoin. So, what are your thoughts on Ordinals?
I love Ordinals. Honestly, Velar's inspiration also came after I got into Ordinals, because so I got into Ordinals early, like in January and early February 2023, when there were few thousand Ordinals. So a friend of mine, he suggested Ordinals to me, and my mind was blown, because for the first time you are able to put data onto Bitcoin blockchain. And because Bitcoin blockchain is the most secure, longest running decentralized blockchain, nobody is going to take that data out. So for the first time in human history, with Ordinals, you have, in true sense, immutable data on blockchain, because whatever data you put on Bitcoin is going to be immutable and is going to be there for public throughout, I think, as long as internet will exist. No one will be able to take it down. So my mind was blown with Ordinals. And I think Ordinals has much more use cases than just being NFTs or just putting art on Ordinals, which people are not realizing right now. So in coming years, I'm also very excited and interested to see how Ordinals use cases come out, because Ordinals is not just art or NFT on Bitcoin, it's basically immutable data. For the first time in human history, you have immutable data, which is tamper proof. Nobody can edit, nobody can delete, nobody can change data. Once it's on Bitcoin blockchain, it's secured by hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin miners, and and so much hardware. It's not going to be deleted or edited. So it's very interesting for me to see how that pans out. And it's one of the reasons we started Velar was Ordinals, because Bitcoin has limited block space. Even after Taproot upgrade, it has 4 MB in block space. And when Ordinals started coming to Bitcoin, you know that most of the space will be taken by Ordinals and other use cases that are coming apart from Ordinals, like BRC20 and runes. And from the 4 MB block space, which is every 10 minutes, you won't have enough space even left for Bitcoin transactions to happen. So Bitcoin transactions will get more and more expensive. So the only solution to that is L2s on Bitcoin. you need to build layer 2 solutions on Bitcoin, and you need to build DeFi products like us, like AMM, PerpDex on Bitcoin, where people can use Bitcoin for their daily need or transactions on L2s. Of course, they can store their Bitcoin if they want to store and hold it for long term. They store it on L1, but whenever they want to use it, they put it on L2s. So I used this analogy. I came up with this analogy where it's like your electronic safe. Everybody has electronic safe in their home, and Bitcoin L1 is like electronic safe. It's like Bitcoin L1 is a safe where you store your valuables, documents, you store your money, everything. But whenever you want to use it, you take it out of the safe. So Bitcoin L1 is the safe where you store your valuable Bitcoin, valuable ordinals. But whenever you want to use it, whenever you want to earn yield on your Bitcoin, whenever you want to put your Bitcoin to use or put it in DeFi or trade it, you bring it to Bitcoin L2, and you use applications like Velar to earn yield on top of it using multiple different options that are available. Or even we will have Ordinals DeFi on Velar in future, because even Ordinals will come to Bitcoin L2. So it's like so this analogy of safe works perfectly there, that whenever you want to store Bitcoin, you store it on Bitcoin L1 and Ordinals. But if you want to use your Bitcoin, you bring it to Bitcoin L2s.
So what use cases do you see for ordinals besides just storing the data?
It's a interesting thought experiment.
No, it's fine. So, what other use cases for ordinals do you see besides storing the data?
Um, so Ordinals itself is storing the data on Bitcoin blockchain. So Ordinals is basically immutable data on Bitcoin blockchain, and it can be any form of data. It can be text, it can be files, it can be PDF, video, audio, games, anything. So so you don't have to see what use cases Ordinals have. You have to see what use cases immutable data have. So I think it will be a very interesting thought experiment. Like I last year I got busy with building Velar, but if I get time next year, I'm going to explore and deep dive into what use cases Ordinals can have. But I think immutable data for humanity, because it has never happened until now, there will be so many use cases. You can do news on top of Ordinals, which if once you make sure that they are not tempered and they are not edited, that the news will never get tempered again. So if you see the history, like there is a saying that history is full of lies, right? Where the winner of any war will write the history themselves. Doesn't matter if it's 100% truth or not. But once you start putting data on Bitcoin blockchain, then nobody can tamper that data. It's like we can rewrite, we cannot rewrite the history that's already happened, but from now, because of Ordinals, we can write true history which cannot be tempered or cannot be edited in future. I think this is a huge use case. But apart from that, I mean, there can be so many use cases which I can't think of right now. But if I have time, I would really like to deep dive into it and think about it.
Yeah, that's powerful. And you recently as well launched Meme Stacker to allow anybody to launch meme coins on STX. Why did you decide to do that? And what's your take on meme coins? And as well, what do you think about Rune's meme coins on Bitcoin?
Yeah, so first of all, I love meme coins. I think meme tokens are a really great way to kickstart any economy, and meme tokens will play a huge role in kickstarting the Bitcoin DeFi economy as well. A meme token is meme coins is what bring everything together. Like it brings, it transcends the differences that humans have, and it brings everybody together in a way that's more fun, in a way that's not very agenda driven. So I think meme tokens are in general for humanity, meme tokens are very, very important, and they will play a crucial role in uniting the world in future. So meme tokens on Bitcoin also, we thought it's very, very important, and that's why we launched memestacker.com. Memestacker is like a daughter product of Velar Dharma, the first version, where because it's very difficult and it's a new tech stack when you build on Bitcoin. Currently, it's very difficult, and you need to learn coding in a new language, and you have different security measures that you need to launch tokens on Bitcoin. So what we did was, with Memestacker, you can launch a token on Bitcoin and on stacks without worrying about development or coding. So a lot of people that we have seen have huge communities. They have great ideas. They want to launch meme tokens, but they don't have a tech team. They don't know how to code in different languages. So this is more of our gift to the community, where anybody who wants to launch a meme token, they can launch with like 3 very easy steps without getting to learn to code anytime.
So which meme coins do you have yourself?
I I mean I'm genuinely heads down so busy with Velar right now. I really don't have time to look into meme tokens, but I would really like to buy some meme tokens in near future for sure.
Do you know any popular meme coin projects on Bitcoin?
Yes, some of the popular meme token projects are like there is a kangaroo token, which is already listed on Velar. It's run by a very OG Bitcoiner. He has been in Bitcoin space for 7 8 years. He also very early Stacks OG builder and supporter. He has launched his meme token called Roo. And they have a huge community. It has the backing of like a lot of big OG Bitcoiners and big OG, like Bitcoin holders. And I think, and because of his background, he has always been supportive to the community. I think his meme token is going to do well maybe in future. It will be exciting to see how it goes.
Yeah, all this Bitcoin ecosystem feels like completely another world.
Yeah, it's
So
a new
many
world.
new projects.
Yeah.
And can you share some plans for the development of Velar?
Sure. So we just went live with our token, the Velar token. It will be the only token for entire Velar ecosystem in future. We did a IEO with Bybit. We became first ever Bitcoin DeFi project to ever go live on a tier one exchange. So we made history there. And we did a IEO on Bybit. Our Bybit IEO was oversubscribed, and it became the most oversubscribed IEO ever in Bybit's history of last 7 8 years. Over 127,000 people applied for Velar IEO on Bybit. And so we did our token launch around a month ago, and now we are focused on launching Velar Artha, which is our perp DEX. This perp DEX is going to be launched across multiple Bitcoin L2s. So why we are launching on multiple Bitcoin L2s is because we are married to the concept of Bitcoin finality. We are not married to one particular L2. So with Velar, we want to become gateway to Bitcoin DeFi. Any user or institution who's holding Bitcoin and they want to put their Bitcoin to use, they want to earn yield on their Bitcoin, they come to Velar, the Velar infrastructure platform. And on Velar, we will have multiple L2s integrated, through which each L2 may have different use case. Each L2 may have different, they may cater to different set of users. So but because Velar will be the gateway to Bitcoin DeFi, Velar will be one-stop solution for all these users and Bitcoin holders, and they can use Velar to basically use any Bitcoin L2 available in the market and reach Bitcoin finality. So we are going to launch our Velar Artha across 3 or 4 Bitcoin L2s in coming weeks and months, which will become world's first perp DEX on Bitcoin. So very excited to see how that goes, and this is our focus this year.
On which L2s are you launching currently?
I can't disclose that until it's live, but I think until now, I think by the time the video goes out, it will already be very public. But we will all, I mean, the close partners that we have right now is Tax, we have Bitlayer, we have Bob, and we have few others that we are talking to. But these are the L2s that we will go live with.
And do you have already any commitments from the funds to line up for the use of your perpetual DEX?
Yes, we are talking to a lot of Bitcoin holders. I was in Singapore last week for the same reason. I was meeting a lot of institutional Bitcoin holders, funds, liquid funds, quant traders who already trade on either centralized exchanges or different DEXs, but they are worried to put a lot of funds because, first of all, like I said, after FTX, nobody trusts centralized exchanges as much as they did before. So even if they have like 50 million in AUM, they would put at a given point, they would put like 5 million in centralized exchanges. So we are talking to a lot of funds who will put a lot of liquidity in Velar Perp DEX because it's secured by Bitcoin, because it has Bitcoin finality. So this gives them the trust of, first of all, holding their Bitcoin in their own custody and not bridging it to a different chain. So this will be, I'm telling you, like in next 1 year, this will be a game changer. I think it's very possible that in 12 to 18 months we surpass Ethereum DeFi, and not just surpass Ethereum DeFi TVL, but surpass in terms of daily active users, monthly active users, volume, trading volume, and TVL. So we are heads down focused on like pushing the Bitcoin ecosystem forward.
Cases in blockchain you are mostly excited about, not only from the Bitcoin side?
Um, so honestly, me, how I operate, I go all in something. So I have actually not looked at any other use cases in last 1 year. I am just most bullish on Bitcoin DeFi right now. But apart from Bitcoin DeFi, I think another big narrative this cycle is real world assets (RWA) and also deepen, which I want to look into it, but I really genuinely don't have time to look into it. But those two narratives might do well this cycle as well, apart from Bitcoin DeFi.
And what do we need for the mass adoption, in your opinion?
I think we need Bitcoin DeFi because what do you mean by mass adoption? Like, I think the adoption between retail and institutions, they go hand in hand. When retail adopts, the institutions adopt, and when institutions adopt, this gives more trust to retail, and they also adopt more. And this will happen only on Bitcoin DeFi because of the ETF approval of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the guaranteed not deemed a security. So even the US government supports it in that way, that it's not a security. I mean, it doesn't support it, it's a wrong word, but like, it doesn't go behind it to stop it. And especially with the ETF approved, that Bitcoin has made its concretized its space in in the real world, in the institutional world as well. So if you want people's trust, you want to bring institutions, and institutions will come on Bitcoin DeFi. They will not go on Solana DeFi, or they will not go on Avalanche DeFi. They will come on Bitcoin DeFi.
And probably the question which interests a lot of people is, how long this bull market will last. What are your predictions?
Um, I think that's impossible to say, right? I mean, how long it will last, but I think we are still at the very very beginning of the bull market. This time, I think this is going to be a super cycle for Bitcoin. Like, every time we say Bitcoin go up, but then a lot of other tokens go up much more than Bitcoin. But this time we are going to see completely different, because uh, because of Bitcoin ETF, because of institutional play on Bitcoin, because of DeFi on Bitcoin and ordinals. The game has completely changed in crypto. Uh, this time the you know this time the center of everything will be Bitcoin, and this has never happened before in any previous cycle. So this cycle will look completely different, and we are still at the very beginning. Because imagine, like, we are still launching the first perp dex on Bitcoin is still going to be launched next week, which is Velar. So, like, we are so early that even the products are not live yet. So imagine when DeFi on Bitcoin is built in 6 to 12 months. Imagine when it has a few $100 billion in TVL in 1 to 2 years. The entire crypto market will look completely different. The predictions I make for this bull market is that, if you go on Coin Market Cap or CoinGecko and you see top 100 tokens, right now there are two or three Bitcoin based projects. I think there will be at least 30 or more Bitcoin based project by end of this cycle. So the top 100 in Coin Market Cap will completely change. There will be so much more domination of Bitcoin and Bitcoin based projects that has never been seen before in last over 10 years. So it will be very interesting to see. Apart from that, um, I think ETFs will completely shoot the Bitcoin price so much, because already there is more than 80% of Bitcoin is held with long-term Bitcoin holders. So the price discovery that happens in Bitcoin only happens with less than 20% of Bitcoin available in the market. But now ETFs are taking that Bitcoin away, and then more and more Bitcoin that is already even the exchanges, or the people are holding, they will put them in Bitcoin L2s, and they will put it to use instead of selling it. So this will bring so much crunch in the supply of Bitcoin in the market, that this will shoot the Bitcoin price up. So this cycle we are going to see things that has never happened before, and Bitcoin is going to be in the forefront of it.
And what are your predictions for the Bitcoin price by the end of this year? And as well, what will be all-time high of the Bitcoin in your opinion during this cycle?
I I try not to make predictions, but I'll tell you my theory. So my theory with Bitcoin this cycle is that, like I said, the price discovery on Bitcoin happens with less than 20% of Bitcoin that are on exchanges and that are liquid and people are trading it, buying and selling. Rest 80% of Bitcoin is held by long-term Bitcoin holders. So they don't bring sell pressure to the market. But now the two things that are happening this cycle that has not happened ever before. First is Bitcoin ETF. There we are seeing thousands of Bitcoins being bought every day by these large ETFs like BlackRock and others. And this is taking supply out of this 20% supply because the 80% long-term holders are not selling their Bitcoins. The second thing that's happening is Bitcoin L2s. So like Bitcoin DeFi using L2s on Bitcoin and applications like Velar, this is bringing new use cases to Bitcoin where people, if they want to make money, until now they had to sell their Bitcoin. But now they don't have to sell their Bitcoin. They can earn yield on Bitcoin. They can use Bitcoin as collateral on Velar Perp DEX. So Bitcoin has become more liquid in a decentralized way. So this will also take sell pressure away from the market. So I anticipate at least 5 to 10% of supply of Bitcoin going into Bitcoin L2s and getting logged in next 1 or 2 years, and another five or another around 5% going into Bitcoin ETFs. So imagine there is 20% supply in the market and 5% goes to Bitcoin L2s, which is locked, so people don't sell, and 5% goes to ETFs. So that's already less than half in current supply in the market. So when the supply is less than half, and while the demand is only ever increasing, what do you think happens to the price? So we are going to see, I think we are going to see the biggest ever super cycle and biggest bull market in history of Bitcoin in next 2 to 3 years, and uh, I think if everything goes as as I said, based on this theory, I think $200,000 US per Bitcoin is not unrealistic at this point to see within next 2 years.
And what about altcoins? They usually follow the price of Bitcoin. So, do you still invest into altcoins? And what's your investment strategy? When do you need to fix your profits? Maybe as well, you can talk from the experience of running a hedge
I
fund.
I'm not investing in any altcoins because I'm already running Velar. So my way of my way of kind of investing is that I'm investing in the ecosystem. I'm building the ecosystem. So because I'm so much in I'm heads down building Velar, building DeFi on Bitcoin. My two biggest positions is Velar and Bitcoin. So honestly, I don't know about about altcoins, how they can how well will they do, but
Are you a
altcoins on
Bitcoin
Bitcoins,
maximalist now?
I have been always Bitcoin maximalist, but it was not possible to build applications on Bitcoin. But I that's what I was coming to, that applications on Bitcoin will do really well, especially the early movers and some of them, because there will be huge TVL coming to Bitcoin DeFi. The current Bitcoin DeFi TVL is less than $5 billion, and it will go to 100 to 200 billion dollars. So that's like 50x increase in TVL, which is insane. So if you are an application on Bitcoin, of course you have an edge over any other application on any other ecosystem. So I would at least urge people to look into altcoins in the Bitcoin DeFi space.
Yeah, thank you for the great interview and thank you for sharing your thoughts and expertise in DeFi on Bitcoin with us and about the development of the space.
Thanks a lot, Anna. It's been so much fun. Let's do it again sometime.